We'll read the question. So horizontal steam engine. Okay, no weight component in this problem. WR will not come. Okay. Horizontal steam engine running at 120 rpm has a bore of 250 mm, stroke of 400 mm. What is stroke? Capital L. Okay. So connecting rod is 0.6 meter long, which is small l. Okay. And mass of the reciprocating parts is 60 kilogram. When the crank is turned through an angle of 45 degree, theta is 45 degree from the IDC, steam pressure on the cover end side. Cover end side means above the piston. It's 550 kilonewton per meter square, and that on the crank side is 70 kilonewton per meter square, which is on the bottom side of the piston. Therefore, it's a double acting cylinder. Okay. Consider the diameter of the piston rod equal to 50 millimeter. So with that, you have to find that small a and subtract from the area for the double acting reverse pressure. Small a equal to 50 millimeter. Small a is small d is 50 millimeter. Okay. With that, you have to find the area. Determine turning moment on the crankshaft, thrust on the bearings, acceleration of the flywheel if the power of the engine is 20 kilowatt, mass of the flywheel is 60 kg, and radius of gyration is 0.6 meter. That is the question. Given data. So n is 120 rpm, find omega out of it, 2 pi n by 60, 12.57 radians per second. Diameter of the cylinder is 0.25 meter. So stroke length is 400 mm. Half of that is your crank radius. R is equal to capital L by 2, 0.2 meter. So small l, connecting rod length is 0.6 meter. Mass of the reciprocating parts 60 kilogram. Theta is 45 degree. Connecting rod diameter small d is 50 mm, which is 0.05 meter. P1 pressure above the piston is 550 kilonewton per meter square, which is 550 into 10 power 3. Don't forget the 10 power 3. So P2 is, so let us correct this mistake. It is 10 power 3. It's not 103. Okay. So P2 is 70 into 10 power 3 Newton per meter square. So this mistake is not going to hurt your answer. Meter square, it's a unit, but this mistake will certainly hurt your answer. Okay, so that's why I changed it immediately. 70 into 10 power 3 Newton per meter square. Engine power is 20 into 10 power 3 watts, kilowatts, 20 kilowatts. Okay, mass of the flywheel. See, notice the difference between reciprocating masses has a suffix R. Okay, flywheel mass I am just writing as M. If you want, you can put MF, flywheel, whatever you want, you can follow. Don't confuse between the two masses. In this problem specifically, you are fortunate both the masses are equal, 60 kg. But it is not the same for all the problems. This will be very less. Some 8 kg or 10 kg only will be flywheel mass. If you change the numbers, then you will get the wrong answer for inertia. Okay. So MR is the inertia mass, and this mass is not going to come into the problem until we solve for the last subdivision. So these two subdivisions, you don't need the mass of the flywheel. Okay. So don't consider this flywheel mass as of now. Just keep it in the given data. The last data is radius of gyration is 0.6 meter. I'm going to find out turning moment on the crankshaft, torque. Turning moment and torque are same. Okay, T, right? Thrust on the bearings FB. This is the perpendicular component of FQ. The last one is acceleration of the flywheel alpha. So angular acceleration. Why I'm telling, why not linear acceleration for a flywheel? Because flywheel is rotating. When I just say flywheel acceleration, it means angular acceleration only, because the motion is rotation. Okay, so let us start the problem. What are all the things I have already? N is equal to L by R. Connecting rod length is 0.6 meter. Crank radius is half of the stroke length, 400 mm by 2. It was taken as 0.2. So put it here, it will be, N will be 3. 0.6 by 0.2 will be 3. Okay, turning moment on the crankshaft formula. So what are all the things I need to solve this formula? So you look into the formula. So you just don't monotonously do all the problems in the same way. First, look into the formula, torque formula. What are all the things required to solve the torque? First, I need to find FP. The angle of theta is directly given in the question. Phi I have to find out. R is directly given in the question. If you find FP and phi, you can solve for this answer. You don't have to find anything else. FQ, all that you don't need to find. Okay. First find, we will find FP and phi. Okay. So you have to find FP and phi to calculate the torque. So FP is net load on the piston. It's a horizontal engine. W will not come here. So FP minus inertia force. Okay, that is the default minus. Keep it there. But just represent plus or minus in the formula. When you are using it with numbers, I'll put a default minus. So load on the piston, double acting cylinder. Two pressures are given to you. P1 A1 minus P2 into A1 minus A. Okay. So P1 is 550 kilonewton per meter square. So 70 kilonewton P2, 70 kilonewton per meter square. So area 1, pi by 4 into bore diameter, 0.25. Pi by 4 into 0.25 square, 0.049 meter square. Okay. A2, I mean small a. Small a is the area of the cross-section area of the connecting rod. Pi by 4 into 0.05 square, 0.00196. So these things you have to cross-check, and again how many decimal digits you are going to take accurately. All those, depending on all those things, our answers will vary. That will vary only if you do it. If you just write down the answers from here, it will not vary. Okay, so try to do it. Some variation is always allowed in the exam. 5% of answer variation is allowed for round of errors. Okay. So 550 into 10 power 3 into cross section area 0.049 minus 70 into 10 power 3 into what you have done here inside this last brackets. A1 minus A. A1 0.049 minus small a diameter, I mean cross section area of the connecting rod. Small a is this one. Okay, why you are doing this? As I already told you, in a double acting cylinder, piston above the piston, the entire cross section area of the cylinder is available for the gas pressure to act. But the bottom side, you have a connecting rod, and this much area is not available for the steam pressure to act. So I'm going to subtract this connecting rod area from the actual available area to find this A2. Okay, so that is why I'm subtracting for the reverse pressure to act. So that's what is written here. This is the cylinder area minus connecting rod area. That much area is available for this back pressure to act. And the back pressure is opposing your actual work pressure. So that you are subtracting. Okay, very simple logic. Right? Now the answer. 23,657 Newton. So don't follow kilonewton until you complete the problem. Finally, when you are writing the answer, you can write kilonewton. Up to that, please keep it in simple fundamental units. Otherwise, you will get error. Somewhere, if you write 23.65, next step you will put 23.65. Everything will be wrong. Don't put kilonewton in the intermediate steps. Final answer only, you can write kilonewton, kilowatt, everything. Okay. So that is 23,657. Next is inertia force. If I find FL and FI, I can find FP. Okay, inertia force, mr omega square r cos theta by n, mr mass of reciprocating part 60 kg, 60 into omega, the given data page itself, I found out 12.57 radians per second. So mass of the reciprocating parts is 60, omega is 12.57 radians per second, crank radius is 0.2, theta is 45 degree. Okay, 2 into theta is cos 90 here. Okay, cos 90 will be 0, right? This term will vanish actually. N is 3. Okay, so solve for this and you will find out that the answer is 1340 Newton. Just because I'm giving answers, it doesn't mean that you need not calculate. Okay, so until you get really familiar with these type of calculations, these problems will always end up with errors. You will know everything, but you will not get marked. Problem is lack of practice. Okay, so do it with your calculator, at least after the class, right? Inertia force is 1340 Newton. Now SP I can directly find out. Net load on the piston minus inertia force. Keep a default minus within the bracket inertia force along with the symbol of the answer. Put it inside the bracket. So this is a standard rule. If you keep it like this, whatever may be the theta, you will get right answer. Okay. So FL minus FI. So that minus FI within bracket. Here no problem. You got a positive answer. If you get a negative answer, that also you have to put within the bracket. I'm repeating it so many times, but you will see what will happen if you write an assessment. The same mistake, if there are 30 people in a class, 20 people will do this mistake. Because we are seeing it in our experience, I am telling. That is why I am telling it so many times. Some people will feel irritated why he is telling so many times. Because this is one of the most repeated mistakes. That's why I am telling it so many times. Okay, keep it in mind strongly. There is a minus symbol outside. Whatever is the symbol of this inertia force answer, here plus. So put it along with the plus here. If it is a minus, put it along with the minus here. So that will solve all the confusion. Okay. So substitute the numbers. FL 23,657, FI 1,340. So FP is 23,657 minus 1,340. So that is 22,317 Newton. So piston effort is, so but this is not really asked in the question. What is asked? Torque is asked, first question. This is a prerequisite data. For finding torque, I need piston effort. Okay. So FP is 22,317. This step mark only will get if you don't do torque. Okay. Sin phi. Then I will need phi to solve. I need FP and phi to find torque. Okay, FP. This equivalence. Sin phi equal to sin theta by n. Sin 45 by 3. Sin 45 is I think 1 by 2 by 3. This 0.2357. Okay. So 0.2357. So sin 45 is root 3 by 2. Okay. So 0.2357. Sin inverse. Sin phi equal to 0.2357. Phi equal to sin inverse of 0.2357. So the answer is 13.60. Okay. Now I have turning. I'm going to directly find out the turning moment. So formula is Fp sin theta plus phi by cos phi into crank radius. Okay. So Fp is 22,317. Phi is 13.6. The crank radius is 0.2. Theta is 45 degree. So substitute all the numbers in the above formula. Okay. Fp 22,317. Theta is 45 degree. Phi is 13.6. Okay. Again, divided by cos phi. Phi is 13.6. Crank radius is 0.2. This font variation, I don't know why it is coming. I've tried so many times to learn it. It's not happening. Just write it down. Okay. So the torque answer, try to do the torque answer, calculate. This is not x, this is multiplication. Okay. It is in italics. 22,317 multiplied by sin 45 plus 13.6. So better you write it as 58.6. Divided by cos 13.6 into 0.2. The answer is 3,920 Newton meter. Okay. So this portion, the unit is Newton. The unit of this is Newton, FP, right? Newton. This unit is meter. So Newton meter is your torque unit. Don't forget the unit. So turning moment on the crankshaft P equal to 3,920 Newton meter. So first question is answered. Second question is FB, thrust on the bearing. Okay, thrust on the crankshaft bearing FB. If you look back, what is the formula for that? FB cos theta plus phi by cos phi. Now you have all the data. Okay, FP 22,317. Phi is 13.6. Theta is 45 degree. So put all the numbers. FP 22,317. This is FP into cos theta 45. Phi is 13.6. And phi is again 13.6. Don't multiply R. Don't forget and multiply R. It is not there in the formula. Then it will become some other term. Okay. So this is if you solve, take 2 minutes and try to solve this. So the answer is 11,960 Newton. FB. Force on the crankshaft bearing. Okay. So thrust on the crankshaft bearing is 11,960 Newton. So I'm going to solve the last subdivision. Acceleration of the flywheel. Okay. So this formula, you please note it down. Accelerating torque equal to turning moment minus resisting torque. This we have already discussed. Resisting torque. What did I tell you? Resisting torque. There is a car. Okay. Imagine it has stopped. Some three of you are trying to push the car and start moving it. So the car has stopped. You are helping some people trying to push the car and move it. Okay. So it will be very difficult for you to start moving the car. After you start moving, some 2 people can get rid of, only 1 person can move the car. This is because the inertia of the car has transferred from inertia of rest to inertia of motion. So initially the car resists moving. It will not easily move. It will resist moving as long as it is in inertia of rest. When it starts moving, it gets inertia of motion, then it becomes very easy for you to push the car. Only half of or 1/3 of the effort is required to keep it moving. Okay, so that amount of effort which is required, minimum threshold amount of effort required to move the car is called resisting torque. whatever torque available above the resisting torque will help you to increase the speed of the car. So totally this much torque is available to me. Okay, out of that, this much is minimum required to increase to start moving the car. Remaining, the difference between the total availability and the minimum requirement to move will reflect in as your speed. It will increase the speed. Excess torque will end up increasing your speed. Okay, that's why when you accelerate or when you turn the throttle of your bike, engine moves a little bit faster, you get a more amount of torque also. So you end up increasing the speed of your vehicle. Okay. So engine power, another second relationship, engine power. How to find this resisting torque value? Power of the engine, 20 kilowatts given in the question, right? Equal to resisting torque into angular velocity of the engine. Okay. So with these two relationships, you can find the acceleration. Okay. So power of the engine 20 kilowatts, mass of the flywheel 60 kilogram, radius of gyration 0.6 meter, omega is 12.57. So with all these numbers, first you go to this engine power formula and substitute engine power equal to resisting torque. I have substituted the resisting torque as TR suffix R. Okay, there are two torques. Total torque P you already calculated. So resisting torque I am going to find out from this formula TR. So TR into omega 12.57. So calculate TR. So TR equal to, this is 10 power 3 again, not 103. Okay. So 20 into 10 power 3 divided by 12.57 radians. So that is 1591 Newton meter. So this much of torque is just required to move the vehicle, start moving the vehicle, load on the entire thing. And whatever balance available apart from this 1591 will increase your speed. That is accelerating torque. Okay. So accelerating torque equal to turning moment minus resisting torque. So 3920 is what the T you already found. From that you subtract this resisting torque 1591. So 2329 amount of torque is available to increase the speed of your vehicle. Okay. So accelerating torque equal to I alpha. I is your moment of inertia, alpha is your angular acceleration. So I is mk square. You know that already. Mass into radius of gyration square. Okay. Alpha is angular acceleration. So therefore, accelerating torque equal to mk square into alpha. So 2329 equal to 60 into 0.6 square. 60 is the mass of this. Mass is flywheel mass. Don't forget that. In this problem, both the masses are equal, but certainly here you have to put the flywheel mass. M radius of gyration k square. Okay, multiplied by alpha. So solve for alpha. So please be careful. Accelerating torque equal to mass of the flywheel multiplied by radius of gyration of the flywheel square multiplied by angular acceleration. Don't push the reciprocating mass here. That is not correct. Two different masses are there, reciprocating masses and radius and the flywheel mass. Okay, now we solve for angular acceleration 107.8 radians per second square. Okay, that is the end of the problem. So therefore, acceleration of flywheel alpha equal to 107.8 radians. We will sum up the results. Turning moment on the crankshaft 3920 Newton meter. Thrust on the crankshaft bearing 11,960 Newton. Acceleration of the flywheel 107.8 radians per second. So 3 answers, 3 questions, you have answered all the 3. So this is taken from your Kurmi textbook, problem 15.12.